Okay, so I'm very excited about this topic and talking about this because it's been such a massive change in my life, and it's something that I feel like I've really progressed with and worked on throughout the last like 6 years. Um, I'm going to talk about like presentations and doing public speaking and any type of kind of thing where you're trying to communicate your point to a group of people with a stutter. And I think I'm going to split this up into doing kind of a story time for the first half of like talking about my experience in school and university, and then go into like advice and things that have really helped me throughout the years. Um, and yeah, I think that's kind of it. I've had such a huge change from being absolutely terrified and petrified to do any kind of presentation when I was younger, and I would like avoid it like the plague. And now I I have the instinct to avoid it, but I don't. I get excited about doing it because I know that I'm going to be facing my fear and get this like adrenaline rush, which I think is completely underrated. Like people go like these huge adrenaline things when it's like really dangerous things, and then you could just do a presentation and just get that same feeling. So that's my break now. So when I was at school, I think my first experience that I can remember of doing presentations in secondary school was in a biology class, and I had gone to the teacher to say, look, I'm really worried about doing this. Can I not do it? Trying to avoid it. And the teacher was like, no, you need to do this. You don't have a choice. Like, this is for you're going to have to do presentations at university, so you need to do it now. Um, and she was quite pushy about it, and she kind of forced me into doing it. And I I got up to the front, and I think it was a class of maybe like only 10 people or like 9 people, and I just completely froze. Like I couldn't say what I was trying to say. I couldn't say cytoplasm, which was what I was talking about. I was meant to just explain the cell, and it was a really simple presentation. It wasn't complex material, but I completely blocked, and I just remember it being the most like horrible, awkward experience. I can't really remember that much of it because I just like it was just a blur, and I think I just felt very anxious after. And I think that was quite formative of how I thought presentations would go in the future after that. Um, and I think the problem for me there was that she wasn't like listening to me. She wasn't hearing what my needs were. She wasn't putting into. She wasn't thinking about how embarrassing or humiliating it would be if I did end up stuttering, or support me on that at all. And I think that because I didn't have that autonomy of like, I want to do this for myself, I really felt like, um, because I felt like I was forced into it, I think my anxiety was so high that I just couldn't cope with it. So over the years, I've learned that if it's coming off my own, if it's something that I internally want to do, I'm gonna be much less likely to get completely blocked and feel like I'm not gonna be able to do it, because I think in that situation I got blocked and I knew that I was going to, so it was like um a self-fulfilling is it prophecy? No, a self-fulfilling cycle. I've gone blank. Anyway, so yes, so I think that the combination of trying to avoid it and also then when I did do it, I had no choice and was kind of forced into it. Just was a bad combination. So when I got to uni, I thought I'm not going to be able to get through uni. I don't know what to do. So I tried to do the same thing. Went to speak to the tutor of my course, who was also my personal tutor, and say, please, can I not do this group presentation, or can I do it one on one? Like, what's a good solution? And he said that he had done lots of debate speaking and presentations at school, and that had really helped him with his stutter. Like, he said that he had a stutter, so I think that that helped him. But it meant that I had to do this group presentation in front of like this whole lecture theatre, and my I think I wasn't ready to cope with that. I don't know. I didn't stutter in it, but I did have extremely high anxiety that term, and um, my mental health had gone really bad, and my whole health. So all of my other grades went really badly. So I think that that wasn't a good experience either for different reasons, but kind of the same of like they weren't listening to me or taking into account what would actually help. So I think as a stutterer, if I'd been more assertive and said, look, like I'm happy to do this, but please can I have a practice round with somebody, or can I do it in just in the group on a video, or like found some kind of solution that was an in between that wasn't like throwing me straight in the deep end. Um, that might work for some people, but it just definitely didn't work for me. And then my approach started to change when I got to second year, because I would email the lecturer beforehand and say, please could I do this presentation one on one? I have a bad stutter, and also my anxiety levels get so high that I just can't do it. Like I put in a firm boundary, and said it's not because I'm underprepared, but I know that I won't be able to communicate my points properly. So I did that, and the lecture was really receptive. I think I had my first presentation one on one, and it went very smoothly. I had got all the slides prepared, and I was very anxious, but actually it flowed fine. I think the next one like that, I went to have a discussion with them first, and I basically broke down to them, and we had a really good chat, and they could see how much it would affect me and that it would help to do a one-on-one presentation instead of me go up in front of the class. And I think getting that off my chest and like building up that confidence in myself of like, oh, I'm doing these one-on-one presentations and they're going well, gave me a lot of help for the next steps. And then um and then in fourth year, um I had some really good tutees who would be very encouraging of like speaking, getting me to speak in class without it being like a high pressure situation. So um we had a debate that was like a small group debate, and I went for that and it was great. And I think I did stutter a bit, but it was like fine because I felt like, well, I'm facing my fear and I'm doing it, and I'm feeling very empowered because I've got these teachers who are supporting me. And then I did a 2-minute pitch, which I can't remember stuttering on, but I was very nervous for that. And then finally, I did a 20-minute presentation um, in front of my whole class, which I was very supported in. So the course leader spoke to me, and I said like, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it. Like I get so much anxiety, and I'm very scared, and sometimes when I stutter it's just uncontrollable. And she said, look, it's completely up to you. I really think that you'd feel better if you did do it, and that like it's a really really nice group. I can't imagine anything would go wrong. If you stutter, nobody's gonna have a problem with that or be like disrupted. Take as long as you want. We'll give you a longer slot, but obviously you really don't have to do it. You can do it one on one. So I did it, and it went great. And I think that that gave me that little high of like, oh, I did it, so I can do it now. So I really felt good from that, and I think that then since then I've done at work I've done like presenting in group meetings. I started doing that weekly, and I was very nervous and I felt like I didn't do a very good job. But after the meeting, I felt so much better. I felt like it doesn't matter if I did a good job or not, because I got off my chest and I've achieved something, and it was like on a Friday, so it's like I achieved something really big. So I think for me, taking baby steps has just been so fundamental to building my confidence, and also just getting over the uncomfortability of like sometimes do stutter, and that's also fine. And getting used to that and not letting it trip you up is great.